Welcome to the Pump Rules Podcast, the show where cast and connoisseurs come to talk all things Vanderpump Rules.
I can't wait for Mamma Mia 2, by the way.
Well, who's going to be in it?
Everyone's in it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Meryl's not in it because she's dead. That's not a spoiler. She's dead.
Right.
It's a flashback.
Yeah.
That's why the overalls are hanging on a dock post in the poster because Meryl's dead.
Yeah.
She wears, overalls in the film.
Right.
As you know.
Yeah.
Have we started?
Well, yeah, we're rolling into it. Yeah,
okay. Well, Amanda Seyfried is in it.
Uh-huh.
Yet I also think Lily James is in it.
Okay.
And then Pierce Brosnan, the other one. And then the other one.
Yeah, that other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, what are their, the British guys.
Okay.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Okay.
And that other guy who's in everything. Colin Firth. No. Colin Firth?
Colin Firth, I think. I think he's in it.
Might as well be Colin Firth.
Sure. Colin, British Colin.
One of the, and then Christine Baranski, who is
that's cool.
Literally coming into finally, getting her due at, age 90 or however. She was in Bad Moms 2, A Bad Moms Christmas.
How was that?
I thoroughly enjoyed it just for Christine Baranski's performance.
You're always on the bleeding edge of every film that comes out, right? You've seen everything all the time. How often do you go to the movies?
Not as much right now because I'm working so hard, but when I'm not working as much, I go every day. And I'll see everything, yeah.
Do you have Movie Pass? Do you like the idea of Movie Pass?
I had Movie Pass, not to brag, but I had Movie Pass before Movie Pass was Movie Pass.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just got into it. I'm late
I know.
To the
Well, they
game.
kind of, they figured it out and they got a big push. But, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but I remember my friend got it for me for Christmas in, I guess, 2014, maybe. I'm 15.
That's an appropriate gift for you.
He's like, you need this. And I went and I lived next to Nighthawk in Williamsburg.
Oh, okay.
And the other theater in Williamsburg, I guess Williamsburg movie theater. So I lived between two movie theaters.
Collins movie theater.
Yeah. That's all I would do. So, yes.
And there's no shortage of theaters out here.
I literally think that as tired as I am after this, I have to go see Insidious: The Last Key so I can talk about it on LA Daily tomorrow after The Feels on Entertainment Weekly.
Cool. And speaking of The Feels, The Feels is your show on Radio Andy,
yes.
Sirius XM, which I was a guest on a few months ago, and I had a fabulous time on
Please
it.
come back.
I would love to. Yeah, anytime.
Please.
Yeah, that'd be great. I was there for your special birthday show.
Oh my God. Happy birthday to me, my 40th birthday.
Yeah, your 40th birthday. You allowed yourself a Coca-Cola Classic.
Oh my God. That's when it all went to shit because then, my diet went off the rails. I went to Mexico, and that was my treat to myself. Is I drank Coca-Cola Classic the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the proper sugar version, Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in theory, I think we have Mexican Coca-Cola here.
Yeah, you can get it
in the bottle, and it's more of a exotic thing here. Down there, I think it comes from China or wherever it comes from.
Yeah, it flows from the river.
Yeah, I don't think it's really as special down there.
Yeah,
here it's oh, you have a Mexican Coke, but down there it's just what is the thing? I mean, they just use real sugar in the one you think you're getting here, but down there it's. What's that stuff called? It's banned. It's bad for you.
Oh, not NutraSweet.
No,
saccharin.
Corn syrup.
Oh, did they use? It's corn syrup.
Yeah, it's just gross.
It's shitty. Yeah,
it's bad for you. It's so delicious. It's what literally killed Carrie Fisher. Edit that out.
Right, that's the one thing. Right.
I mean, if you watch the documentary, she's never without a Coca-Cola.
No, you're right. You're right. She had quite the assembly of drugs in her system.
I know.
In the toxicology report, as did Tom Petty.
As did somebody the other day. Okay, yeah. Anyway, people die.
People die, and
if drugs are bad.
Yeah, drug combinations.
Yeah.
Be careful. Don't
careful.
More than one or two things, maybe
Heath
2,
Ledger,
3, maybe. Yeah,
not good.
Yeah, and don't drink if you're doing a bunch of different drugs.
Yeah, no,
especially prescription drugs. A lot of Tylenol in there.
Even don't combine. Yeah, anything. Even if you go to Erewhon or whatever, Whole Foods, they'll tell you don't take zinc with your multivitamin, or I don't know.
Oh, right. Supplements you don't want to just happily...
Don't mess with that stuff.
Well, you were talking about being in New York, and when you were in New York, you worked on Watch What Happens Live, right?
I worked on Watch What Happens Live for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, during your time there, I don't know
what do you want to know?
I can't remember which years, so I was curious if any of the Vanderpump people were on when you were on. Of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was there when Vanderpump was just like a
glimmer in the eye of Lisa.
Yeah. When it was born, and we watched it. We couldn't believe it and got so into it because we would all watch it together. All the like new shows that would come in, and all those new shows that didn't go, but Vanderpump really, obviously made a splash. But like Pregnant in Heels or Matchmaker, and not Millionaire Matchmaker.
No, Matchmaker in Heaven, the one about the dear departed people that finding their significant
soulmates.
That the tricky thing with that was all the work they had to do with the cameras,
right?
Well, the filters and everything,
and it seemed like found footage. It seemed fake. Yes, there was a fundamental problem with that.
Did you ever see Euros of Hollywood?
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, and that,
I was kind of obsessed with it because I knew about episode 3 that it was not going to continue. And then I think they had one of those Bravo time shifts when that a network is getting rid of a show.
Yeah. Friday night.
Oh, yeah. Dumped to like, the best was when Wicked Single was dumped by VH1 right after the Boston bombing.
Oh.
They dumped it 2 episodes at a time, airing at midnight.
Yeah.
On Sundays.
Well, if it's any indication, The Feels, my show on Radio Andy, airs at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So drive time, I'm good. 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. And then it replays at like 4 in the morning. And then
on demand as well.
Well, of course, on demand.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not begrudging my time slot. I love my time slot.
But you actually prefer this one to the previous time slot.
I do.
What was the previous time slot?
It was Mondays. So at noon or...
I forget because I did a pre-tape with you and I came in at like 5:15 in the morning or something. I don't even remember. It was early.
Because
not that I minded.
I have to get up, of course. No, you're such a good sport. I have to get up so early to do Andy Cohen live because I'm live with him. So it's 7 to 9 my time.
Yeah.
10 to noon his time. So I would finish doing that and then like go to my day job, then run back to the studio and do The Feels, and it's like I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, like I hadn't had a second to even think. So this is much better. I have a day. Yeah. Even though I did the show this morning at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And then did my day job, and then tomorrow. This is so boring.
No, it's not at all.
Work, and then I'll go do The Feels, and then I go and do my Entertainment Weekly gig.
Yeah.
Which is how I got involved in radio in the first place.
Oh, that's interesting. I was going to ask you how you got involved in radio because I knew you worked with Andy on Watch What Happens, and you've known him for forever, right?
Do you want to know the story?
I would love to know the story. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the quick version.
Yeah.
So, we were boyfriends. That's old news. And then stayed, kind of very, very close, this whole time, and then worked together. So, I was producing shows at Bravo, and 2 years into, 2.5 into Watch What Happens Live, I joined when it went 5 nights a week. I was in LA.
Yeah.
I was doing my thing here, and he was like, well, when we go 5 nights a week, if we go 5 nights a week, I want you to come and write on it. And I said, of course, that's what will happen. So he's like, I think we're going, get up here. I got there, and I mean, it's the best show ever. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still my favorite show. So, but about a year into it, I used to be a performer. I used to, do Broadway shows, and that was just all I did.
Yeah, including Rent, correct?
I didn't do Rent. I did a show called Bear, which was kind of like a baby Rent.
Gotcha.
A gayer, well, I guess Rent's pretty gay, but it was kind of a more heavy-handed. Well, Rent's pretty heavy-handed. Anyway, it was a show that didn't go to Broadway, but was supposed to. That's a whole other discussion.
Okay.
But no, I did that. I did Hairspray. I did The Boy from Oz with Hugh Jackman.
Right.
Like Broadway shows, which was really fun.
Hairspray was what I was trying to think of, and I mixed up.
Rent, Tracy Turnblad, Mimi, same thing, same basic story.
Very generous
really.
of you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And all through those years, Andy and I were boyfriends, and then I started producing TV and came out to LA, and then I went back and really, was with him 5 nights a week, all those shows, and then so about like a year and a half, 2 years into that, my friend asked me out of nowhere to just come on. They did a show for 3 hours a day on Entertainment Weekly on Sirius XM.
Oh, okay.
Called. At that point, it was called News and Notes, I believe. And it was just the daily afternoon show on Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
And I would come on, and I did insane. I don't know how they let me do what I did. I don't know what I did. I went on and just did. I would describe music videos as if it were like describing music videos for the blind.
I see.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
And like for some reason we enjoyed they thought it was kind of funny. And then I would come in and just bring in just a random thing. Anyway, I don't know why they kept having me back, but they did, and I would do it, just it was fun. And
well, I imagine it was probably something like how you've allowed and brought Helvetica to the fold on Andy's Live.
I haven't really processed her consciously. I really haven't.
Helvetica, what's in the news today?
So, Black China news. She has addressed the allegation of her fight at Six Flags.
There was a fight at Six Flags with Black China?
Black China, as we say in the news world, lost her shit.
Okay.
And she, her child, her baby, was in a pink stroller, and she swung the pink stroller around to try and injure and hurt someone.
No.
Well, because the person tried to touch the baby, and she wasn't into that.
Oh my God.
So she did come out and said, "I do not condone violence, nor am I a violent person."
Okay.
Don't believe that. But shout out to all the amazing mothers out there that will protect their children at all costs. Love, King, and Dreams, Mommy. Now I understand that, being a mother myself. However, I would never protect my child.
Right. Your daughter is named what?
Tivana.
Oh, how is Tivana?
We don't talk about her on this program.
Oh, we don't.
No.
Oh,
we're not ready for that. She is. She's otherwise engaged.
Oh, okay.
And severely punished.
Okay.
She might be in a cage.
Somebody brought that up yesterday in person, and I was like, I don't know how to respond to that in person, because when it happens, I'm alone in that little box which you've seen with no one else around.
right, and you just have you interact with the TV screen.
Yeah, and I don't. At this point, they've changed the setup, so I don't even see when I'm on with Andy. I cannot see myself. I can only see him.
Okay.
On the far right corner of and I can't see well anyway. So I don't. All I see is him just looking at his phone the whole entire time.
It could be a still shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are in the way. So. Yeah, maybe that's how Helvetica came into to be.
She visits you in that state.
I really channel her.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
He told me today it was 15 minutes. Did you listen to that?
Yeah. It was a good chunk of time. There's been moments where it's almost an hour, I think. When you
of
didn't
her?
I think it felt at least it felt that way. No, I'm kidding. No.
I've always said it feels like 7 minutes because I had one hater.
Someone complained about Helvetica?
I had one hater, and then I was like, I'm never doing it again because it's not like a bit I thought of. It was just an accident.
Yeah. Just a little accident.
Yeah, an accident.
So I'll just drop a clip in to that, for example. Yeah. If you don't mind. Yeah.
I guess not. Today was kind of good though.
Yeah, today was good. I didn't get to finish the show, but I got to the segment that Andy and John do called "Are We Outraged?"
Oh yeah, Helvetica came on later, and she returned because she made her triumphant return after she had one hater, so I kind of put her on life support for a while and stuff. So. She's back.
Yeah, I saw some worries on Twitter that maybe she was gone. But
the one hater will really do you in.
Well, don't we all know that? Yeah. So
haters are motivators, though.
That's true. Yeah, you got to turn it around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, so are you enjoying your lovely sparkling Bay Rosé?
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. I don't drink either, but it's so delicious and inviting. That I can't not.
Right, exactly. I just like to smell it. It's such a fragrant, opulent
it just
concoction.
Has, every note possible, the bouquet.
Yeah.
Is like...
Oh, it's heavenly, right?
Yeah, it's like a bitch slap to my taste buds, to my soul. And it's delicious. I mean, it's everything. It's high, low, everything in between.
It's all in there. Yeah. No medium, which is great. Nothing in the middle.
Extremes.
Yeah, just extremes.
Yes, polls.
So thank you, Swish Beverage Company, for such an alluring, exciting product.
Oh, God, thank you for introducing me to it.
Hey, my pleasure. Really, I feel honored that I was able to share that with you. So you did Entertainment Weekly.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
And I was always like, well, they're never going to ask me back. And I was always like shocked when I would get the email like, hey, so we'll see you tomorrow. And I told Andy, I was like, I've been doing this thing on radio and I really love doing it. It's crazy. Like it's my favorite thing that I do. He took me for my birthday to a Knicks game because the Spurs were playing, which is my hometown team. I don't care, but I do like the Spurs.
Yeah.
And they were playing at Madison Square Garden and we went. Gardens? Plural? Singular.
You know what? I think usually British people say gardens. I don't know why, but yeah.
I say
Madison
MSG.
Square. Yeah, MSG.
Chinese food. All right. So at MSG, the Spurs were playing, or the Knicks were. Spurs were playing. Sorry, the Knicks.
They were playing the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
No? I would know. You could make that up,
New York
and
Knicks,
you could make up a team name, and I probably wouldn't know. So
it's weird because I think LA had a team that doesn't exist anymore.
They did.
The Clippers? Okay, who cares? Anyway, so we were at a basketball game. We were at a basketball game for my birthday, which was a really cool, fun thing to do. And backstage was like the VIP room. We were like courtside. And there were like a couple of celebrities. It was kind of a lame game, or no one cared. So the entire like buffet of the like hundreds of people could have been fed from. There were like 10 of us.
Yeah,
and it was Nelly. Andy and I, and the like president of Sirius, and he came over and he was like, "Oh, we should do something together." And he's like, "Oh, this is John. He writes on my show and he does something on Entertainment Weekly every week." I was like, "Yeah, I'm on News and Notes every Thursday." And he's like, "I couldn't care less." Back to you, Andy, and kept talking to him, and he's like, "We really should think about doing something together." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, great." And then a month later, he's like, "Come into my office at work. I watch What Happens Live." And he was like, "Remember when we were at the game? Remember that guy we met from Sirius?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm getting my own channel. They're reworking things over there, and you're going to get your own show because I know how much you love doing it, and because you were there, and I know that you loved it first, and it was just super sweet." And I was like, "You don't have to promise me a show. That's nice of you, but yes, I'll take one."
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I wasn't meant to be his co-host originally, but I pitched him that, and I said, "You know what? In the style of Jim J. Bullock and Tammy Faye Baker, like Will and Gracie type of dynamic. The reason that worked, at least, I mean, it didn't go that long, but the reason why I gravitated to that as a kid was because it was a dynamic you didn't see on TV all the time.
Right.
You didn't see a gay guy and his girl best friend like chit-chatting and reading people and being, funny on TV.
Yeah.
That was like a rare occasion.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Because he said, "Will you come on my show and do blah blah blah?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I think like it should be like you never see two. I've always thought like there should be a morning show with two ex-boyfriends who are still friends,
right?
Because that's something that's a perspective you never see.
That's true, and also there's a certain repartee between people that have shared that history and are still on good terms,
and you love each other. Like the love is deep.
Yeah.
So like and I think for the first little part, it took a while to find our footing because it was like we didn't know how to be. It was like, are we like? I think he was like, are we catty? And like, and I was, I think the more natural we've become, the more listenable it has become.
Sure.
So
well, and also that I mean, the cattiness or whatever is part of the greatest part.
Well, when it's real, it's real.
Well,
but when it's forced, it's like, oh God, like.
I love, by the way, my favorite thing in the last few months is around Christmas time when you guys were the perfect distillation of just how cranky everyone gets around the holidays. Because for about 2 weeks, every morning, both of you would be like, "Oh my God, I'm so fucking tired. And then you would be crabby with him and he'd be crabby with you, but also he would call you out on your crabbiness."
I had my Christmas party Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
Why do you give me attitude about it?
I'm not giving you attitude. I'm just saying neat. How that's neat.
Well, you're being bitchy. And your mouth is full. So that's a double.
I have to eat breakfast or I'll get even more bitchy, and I'll need to put on a white jacket.
I remember that vividly. Well, for a while there, I was like, God, I mean, I'm getting up so early, and like Mostly like when the celebrity guests come on, I just turn my mic on, and I didn't realize this, but I am on Skype, and I figured that I was as small of a little tiny box on a laptop in New York as I am, as what I can see in LA.
Yeah.
When I went to New York and I saw the setup that they had created since I've come to LA, I was like, dear Christ, God Almighty. I'm like Max Headroom. You can see every pore. You can see every like tiny,
you're on like a 60-inch television, I think.
It's
right?
a wall. It's an entire wall, like wall projection. And what is it called? Like from Ex Machina, micro expressions. Like how robots find out what you're thinking from the small.
Sure.
They can see all those. Like every time I have any sort of small reaction, and I have a very big reactional face. So like anytime, I don't know if you remember this or you were listening or if anybody was, this was a horrible moment. I know Neil Patrick Harris from a long time ago, and I was like, you know what? Andy's the interviewer.
Yeah.
I do my thing, and I turn my mic off, and I eat my breakfast burrito because it is 8 damn o'clock, and I've been up since 6.
It's early, yeah.
And that is just, I'm grateful, and I'm happy, but I'm going to eat, and I'm going to turn my mic off.
Right.
And you interview the celebrity, like that's your job. And so I didn't know to like shield myself. I didn't know to like
throw a hat over
the camera or the laptop. So I was sitting there, and Neil, and I remember just to entertain myself, because I am alone in that little place.
Sure.
Like sometimes I'll be like, I'll just
be
do
making faces
weird things, or create Australian women out of nowhere. But
one thing I like that you do on your Insta story sometimes is mime along to Andy reading the live commercials. It's very funny.
Well, because there's nothing for me to do. Like I can't like. It's like what would I normally do? And sometimes I bring out my laptop and I'll like write.
Yeah.
I'll work on a script, but then it's 30 seconds and then I'm out of it. So I can't really do that.
Right.
So I literally just have to sit there and listen.
Yeah. And you get familiar with his cadence over those spots.
I hear those spots a million times. You know what? It's my dream to have a live read.
Oh, okay.
And I never have gotten to have one. So I used to do fake ones.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? You should do part of a fake one at some point with this.
Okay.
Because we're doing this running gag with Tom Sandoval having a perfume called Nostalgia.
Perfect.
So we'll do one before you go. When it'll be like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, like, is there an edible kitty litter? I don't know. Like, I don't know what my product would be, but I'm thinking about it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Then we can do that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think an edible kitty litter, that's a really interesting solution.
Yeah. Because then you can feed yourself and, or feed another family.
You almost said a homeless person.
Did I? No, I was finding it. I was trying to find.
You were just, you were just trying to like seek out the melody there.
I guess I was about to say you could feed the. I meant like the less.
If anyone gets offended,
fortunate.
he was reading that off of something I had printed out.
There was a live read.
Yeah, that's always a live read.
I stumbled. I'm not a good cold reader. You know what is funny though? Speaking of Helvetica, not to bring her back because I am a little embarrassed of her.
You shouldn't be.
But when I do that, I don't stumble over my words. I don't ever second guess. I know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And
there is no fumfering. You're right.
It just goes. But I don't know how to speak as myself. It's tough.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I read this story about David Bowie during one of the premieres of Labyrinth, and he found out that one of the children there was mildly autistic and had a lot of terror when it came to crowds. And so he said to whoever was the child's minders, you know what, why don't you bring him into the backstage and I'll have a little private talk with him. And so he told him about this invisible mask that he wears. And then he took it off his face, with a gesture and showed him that he was scared underneath and then gave the kid the mask.
Oh my God.
And the kid told the story years and years later to a friend. And he basically, David Bowie helped him to have this little character that he had to be in public. So I think we all need our invisible mask, I guess.
Oh my God, I know. I went to a goddess moon meditation, not for this current moon, but before, and the leader was like, okay, everyone close your eyes and unzip the self that you wear around.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
Just place it on the floor. Don't worry, you can pick it back up and zip it back up when we're done, but just for the next hour, unzip it and put it there. And you know what? I was like, yeah, I'm going to unzip it.
Yeah. That's a very classic LA thing, but that's a good thing though. And they did a meditation thing on last week's episode where Jax got in touch with some of his feelings. And I think that would be an interesting activity for the gang to do.
To watch Jax unzip.
Once again.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many times
How many times has he unzipped?
can he unzip? Yeah. I love Jax.
Yeah.
I do.
Is he your favorite on the show? Or rather, I blunted your flow there. Tell me more about your love for Jax.
You didn't blunt my flow. I like Jax, but I did want to back up and tell you though that did I not tell you this? I saw Tom Schwartz.
I heard this on Amy Phillips'
I
show.
told him.
You know what else I heard on Amy Phillips' show? Interesting comments about this apartment complex.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's actually great because what do we want? We want content, right? So here we are. This is a very Vanderpump type of thing to be like, listen, I have tape of this. I'm going to play this tape over the Bluetooth speaker.
Just to say before you play this.
Yeah.
I got in trouble today on the radio because I was joking about something because I thought it was funny, and I've been like ransacked on Twitter today.
Really?
Yes.
You're getting some Twitter hate today?
I got some Twitter hate today for saying that I pretend to be deaf to get my dog on flights for free.
Right.
But I
That's
don't
right.
do that.
It was just a bit of a...
It's doing a bit.
Yeah. You got to fill some time on the show.
Or be funny and entertaining because that's my job.
Right.
But okay, I'll own this. I'll take responsibility for what I've said.
Well, now that you've gotten heat about the dog thing, I say go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Take Petey to the counter, lean in as you said you do, and go.
It's just
excuse me.
this.
Yeah, just a little lean in.
Yeah.
And let them infer, like you said, with the micro gestures, micro expressions rather, that this gentleman needs a little bit of assistance. Let's let him have his dog on the plane because they were talking about the person who was denied their comfort peacock.
Yes.
On United, I believe.
United.
Yeah.
Of course.
I guess the peacock would be a bit of a size issue, right?
Well, if it was a female, it would not. If it were
really?
a male,
Uh-huh.
and if the male chose to express,
Oh, I see.
because when they, is that? That's what I would call it.
I think express. Yeah.
Or yes.
Display?
To display.
Sure.
Yes, exactly. To present.
To present. Present's good. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to perform that, flourish.
Yeah.
I think that would be a seating issue. But if it was just like a girl peacock who just like has, the one feather, might as well just give her like the fat seat belt.
Just as long as she's contained.
Yeah. Put her in the bulkhead. Just let her squat up there. What, who's she hurting? I grew up next to this place, next to a cult in Texas.
Oh,
I grew
really?
up next to like this ranch that was a cult.
Yeah.
Literally. And we drove past it every day and they were like, it's the cult. We knew it was a cult and they raised peacocks and the peacocks would roam out of the cult's perimeter.
I'm fascinated by the idea of a cult with peacocks.
Yeah. It was called... I gotta Google it. I haven't thought about that in so long. Anyway, on to my horrible description of your apartment.
Yes, no, this is quite good because the backstory on this is John was going to tape a Pump Rules podcast in December. Due to cold medication, I was asleep when he arrived. So he showed up and he walked the halls, which, as you can see on the show, the halls aren't very impressive. The halls look a little institutional, and also they look a little strange because a lot of times the cameras are going in and out of the apartment. So the cameras basically are set on one color temperature. So they're set on one color temperature, and then they walk into the hallway. It's a different color temperature with fluorescent lights. The institutional looking hallways look sometimes green, sometimes a little just odd. So this was John's take. And this was Amy and John discussing Sandoval and Schwartz having that little meeting with Ken and Lisa.
A little stressful, I must say, when they went to that meeting and Lisa Vanderpump's like, I'm not negotiating.
I'm not
here.
negotiating.
But I mean,
150,000.
That was intense. That
I was
that was a lot for each one. I thought it was like together.
But
Whew,
they live
in
my friend's apartment building, and it's no shade to my friend,
right?
But it's not nice.
Listen, we've seen it on camera. We all know it's not nice.
Like I for once have a nice apartment, and I don't pay that much rent, but like I can it's like, do they live in NoHo?
Well, no,
they live in WeHo.
Yeah, they live in WeHo.
But that is
But they've specifically, Ariana and Tom are specifically staying in that apartment for a reason because they're saving for a house.
Damn.
So I know they don't pay a lot of rent, but they are doing it because they want to have future and stuff like that. But
I was trying to say squalor. I was trying to
you were looking
get
for
to...
you were searching for
Here's the real tea.
Yeah.
Is that I lived on not to give the address away, but I lived on the same street.
Oh, you lived on this street. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
And I had a great apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm poor, by the way. Like, my apartment is not that nice. But like, I was surprised, like when I used to produce docuseries and we would fake homes for these people to make them look like they had nicer apartments.
Right.
And that I was surprised that on a glossy, shiny, beautiful show like Vanderpump Rules, the stark contrast of like, woof, but your place is great.
Sure.
It is.
Thank you.
I would kill for this place. It's
a nice
huge.
place, right? Oh, wait,
yes.
Just go out. Oh, my mic.
It might have been mine.
No. There we go. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. I like. I have to put a few more things up on the wall, but otherwise,
it's not. Look, you know what? You're not working at a sexy, unique restaurant, but like in a good way. Like, you're not living like a slow-mo tracking shot, slinging a martini with, an HD, like, you're not projecting. I just was surprised. I was surprised.
I see. But, I think if you went up to Katie and Tom's place, you'd be actually fairly impressed with it.
How can I make this right? I don't agree with myself. I think this is a great build. I think it's a great building. I think it's super cute. And I used to live right there. I could walk to my old apartment, and I had like a cute little like what's that thing called when it goes down a little bit, like a sunken
okay, like a sunken living room or something.
It was very chic. It was very like Dynasty, just a little
I love
bit.
that. Yeah.
I mean, of course. Do you talk about Videodrome Disco on this show?
Well, we can, a little bit, because Sandoval came to the premiere, and so we talk about that.
Such a huge fan.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. And the next one's coming up. I don't know if this will probably hopefully air before it.
I mean, just the feed in general and the clips.
Oh, yeah. That's right. My personal feed, at Videodrome Disco, for those of you listening who don't know. Also, by the way, if you're listening, subscribe on iTunes. I forget to mention this. I always forget to mention this. So subscribe on iTunes and please leave a review. Okay, now back to the show. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I think that we kind of struck up conversation through that. I think that's how we met, maybe?
Yeah, I was just a huge fan of Videodrome Disco, and I love the clips. I love the music. I love the one that you posted. I won't timestamp this, but today, I love you posted that Canadian group Lime.
Oh yeah, babe, we're gonna love tonight. How great is that, right?
Amazing. I tried to find it so that I could play it as my opening song on the Feels, and then I had to lock something in, so I just played Counting Crows.
Oh wait, okay, yeah. That's
You were like, after you were on my show, you like apologized for the Indigo Girls song that played. You're like, I wasn't responsible, but I only played that. There was a reason.
Well, I knew there was a reason, but it was funny because I didn't expect that, and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, that is not my choice. Because I was just for branding purposes alone. That was funny, and also, hey, get it. We all enjoy being a little shady now and again.
Well, clearly, there is.
Wait, speaking of that, let's hear the next thing you said about the building. Well, the other thing that's funny is there's a conflation here, I think. And Amy said, well, Tom and Ariana are living in this building so she's putting all three couples in this building.
Tom and Katie live in an apartment, same complex as Brittany and Jax.
A hovel.
And so here's the situation. Did you know a bi-level? And did you notice that there's no way to tell the places apart because they have the same exact like L-shaped couch.
Yes.
How is that possible?
It's the same set.
It is the same set. Why would they do that? There's no way to tell whose apartment you're in now. You know what I mean?
It's a reality show trick.
It is?
Yes.
To dress them the same?
Yes, because they don't actually live there. They live like either with their cousins or their parents, and they go, "Oh, it's time to go pretend to live in a real apartment now." And then they all just like live in this like fake apartment.
What? I don't believe that.
Oh, I didn't think you believed that. I just thought it was very funny. But,
how sad to try to be funny at 8 a.m. That's another like 4-day,
You sound a little sleepy in the clip.
Yeah.
I thought it was really funny. And I actually was happy to have that because I thought this is great. This will be a lot of fun on the podcast.
I will say, so roasted. I feel so like it's a well done Outback Steakhouse sirloin.
That's what I love to do on this show. That's what kind of it is all about.
Okay. This is good for me. This is good. Speaking of Amy, it's a good reality check. That was a shitty attempt at comedy.
Well, you know what's funny? After you guys mentioned it, I really noticed that they have that Friends picture frame on the door at both apartments. But of course, a lot of people would say that Jax kind of modeled it after Tom and Katie's because they were in first.
Right.
They're all big fans of Friends, which is honestly, and Katie's horrified by this. I've only seen like 2 to 3 episodes of Friends.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
You want to know something?
Yeah.
I saw the first episode of Friends.
Yeah.
And I have not. I think I may have seen 1 episode of Seinfeld.
Of the 2, I would say Seinfeld, check it out sometime.
I know.
But then again, I never would be like, oh my God, how have you not seen that? I'm sure you were watching something else interesting at the time. Or that's actually during the time when you were in Hairspray and all that stuff, right?
I didn't ever watch TV. I wasn't really into TV. For a long time. I just wasn't sitting around watching TV.
Yeah.
Now I am.
Yeah, well, of course. Right. When you guys first watched Vanderpump Rules, because it was a spinoff of Real Housewives, did you have any thought as to what it would be like when you first saw it? Were you seeing advanced stuff, or did you see the first episode when it was done? Or did you
no.
Okay.
Well, you mean like
just like
rough?
Like stuff that was being sent in. I don't know how it would work back then.
We would get them pretty close to a locked cut.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They were pretty. It was pretty much like this is going to premiere in a week and a half, or 2 weeks.
Sure.
Something that had got passed muster. Through through the ranks.
So it's fairly refined. Practically the show that we see on the air.
Pretty much. Maybe a couple of scenes were swapped out or cut or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, pretty much the show. We watched almost like the audience at home would have seen.
Oh, no, that makes sense, right? Because it's coming from Evolution, right? It wasn't Bravo in-house, right?
And we always they would coordinate with each production company to send us advanced stuff of everything.
Yeah,
we would have to, and that was a lot of material. But you're wondering our first impressions of the show. Did we know it was going to be?
I think first impressions, and also, did you have any sort of thought about what the show would be like when you knew, it's a spinoff of Real Housewives? Because sometimes spinoffs can be looked at sort of askance. So I was just curious if you or The Office maybe had any thought about that before watching it.
Well, it's a shady office.
What? Listen, I'm glad I'm sitting down. That's my favorite joke, and I use it on every show.
Yeah, well, you're sitting down on your L-shaped couch you share with everyone else in your hovel.
This is leather, though. That's right. In my hovel, or as some people like to call it, those shitty apartments. That's a favorite thing that I hear people say. Why do they live in those shitty apartments? And sometimes from people who I know live in really shitty apartments.
I'm so sorry. I love this building.
It honestly makes me laugh. I think if I was like uptight or like I just hope they don't see the place, then that would be one thing. But I find it funny.
It's gorgeous. So when we found out there was going to be a spinoff who doesn't love Lisa? And at that point, she was at the height, of Lisa-ness. So it was like, okay, great. But I knew Sir.
Oh,
because
okay,
I had been to Sir as a patron many, many times. I had gone there for a wedding brunch for a fake green card wedding, and I had to pretend. But I knew that,
of course.
And so we were all being fake.
Yeah.
And the people who were giving the green card were there too. So I had been there for this really awkward brunch.
That's amazing.
They did get the green card and they got divorced. But it was just kind of like, and they were like, it's going to be at Sir. And so Sir was like a thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that it was Lisa's restaurant at the time. Or, I didn't know who she was at the time.
Sure.
But I had known of Sir for so long. I thought it was the French word for the ocean.
Right.
Wait,
of course.
Or for under or on.
Something. Yeah.
What's the French
word?
word?
She thought it was a French word. Yeah. What is the French word
Sur
for?
la table, on the table, under the table.
Sur la mer, so what's that?
La mer is the ocean.
It's la mer, okay.
That's
so
right.
It's under
and
the ocean?
Skincare.
Oh, okay, right.
But Sir, I thought was some sort of French word. But of course, it's just a sexy, unique restaurant.
Of course, yeah.
Which is nothing to laugh at. It wasn't like, oh, this is gonna fail. It was like, oh God, what is it gonna be?
Yeah.
And Andy was like, it revolves around Sir, which we knew then at this point from Beverly Hills Housewives.
Sure.
Villa Blanca stuck out more from her character on that show.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We anticipated it being fine.
Yeah.
Because Andy was like, you guys are gonna love it. The characters are good. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And of course, with loud characters like Stassi and Jax, we were just like obsessed.
Immediately.
And really what stuck out figuratively and literally was the chin implant.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that she had been on that other show.
Amazing Race. And Queen Bees.
In particular.
Yeah.
and so we kind of knew her, and she really just stuck out and was like a no holds barred. And then it was like, wow. And it's interesting that they're, Bravo at the time, we weren't seeing a lot of young people working at restaurants.
Right.
It was a lot of Millionaire Matchmaker.
Right.
It was a lot of
money.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why OC was created, was because they wanted to see behind the gates of a community of wealth.
Sure.
And to see, how these people lived. And then Beverly Hills was like, oh, there's nothing. I mean, this is real cash. This is deep down to like the crust or mantle of the earth money. Like that money's going nowhere.
Yeah, it's sticking around. Yeah,
When we watched the first episode, we were like, oh my God, we're obsessed with Stassi.
Yeah.
And I think Stassi was the first person to come on Watch What Happens Live.
Okay, that makes sense. Sure.
But she was so savvy. It was almost like not a setup or fake thing, but it was like she knew what she was doing. Like, there are some people who know, and all the housewives know this. They know exactly what to do.
Yeah. And how to comport themselves on Watch What Happens. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I always compare the Vanderpump kids to the Shaws of Sunset kids when they come on.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how shady you want me to be. You can ask questions.
No, okay. So I'm assuming it sounds like you compare them favorably to the Shaws of Sunset kids.
Well, they were, they were on kind of, and they were rising at the same kind of time. The Vanderpump and the Shaws, around that same era.
Sure.
They were coming on to Watch What Happens Live for the first time.
Yeah.
They were making press tours for the first time.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe in their lives ever. So they were super excited. They weren't like, it wasn't Meryl or Oprah or Cher or Lady Gaga. It was like, oh, I'm Kristen and I'm here. And I think they were super excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure.
A lot of times, my job at Watch What Happens Live was I was not in the control room. I was in the studio I just stood next to to Andy's camera.
Okay.
In his line of sight.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking at these people profile.
Right.
So I'm literally staring at them as close as I am to you.
Sure.
Very small studio. You have a huge apartment, but our studio,
especially then, that was a much smaller studio, right?
Yes. It was before they moved. And so
some would say a hovel.
A hovel. No? Squalor. Sorry. Shanty.
So Watch What Happens shanty was,
yes. Oh, I'm sure I used that in a joke at some point. Sad, desperate way. You have a fireplace, I'm noticing.
Oh, yeah. It's functional, but I don't really use it, so I have one of the speakers in front of it.
Okay. I would analyze the Vanderpump kids when they would come on and just really... And I believe... I have to go back and check, because that's like 1 million shows, 5 nights a week for 4 years. A lot of shows.
Yeah.
But I do remember... I think we might have had the guys on all at once, and we might have had... and this is before Schwartz was even kind of in the picture.
Right.
Early.
Yeah. Like he was there, but not really a central figure. Yeah. He wasn't even an official cast member, but he was with Katie. So,
right.
Yeah.
But I remember there being, sometimes when we have 4 people on, there will be 2 stools. And I remember there being a couple of guys and then a couple of guys behind them. So, and Jax was there. But I remember thinking Jax was super hot. Little roidy, maybe,
Just maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And like hot in like when you go to the mall and they have that section with calendars still.
Yeah, sure.
With like hot people on calendar that you get for like your uncle who owns a garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get him a calendar with like a girl in a bikini. Like he's hot in a calendar way.
Sure.
It's calendar hot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And by the way, you asked how shady as you want to be, as shady as possible. Yeah.
When people... Okay. No. No. I'll tell you another time.
Okay. All right.
One of them, when people ask me who's the most fucked up person you've ever seen on Watch What Happens Live, because they would get them pretty pumped. No pun intended.
Well, this is what I've heard about Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
The drinks are constantly being refilled. Did they have someone on staff that was their sole job?
Yes,
yeah.
But
I appreciate that as a producer,
I'm not being political. I'm being polygamous about this. I'm not being political about this. It all started out. We just started doing the show, so it was like get drunk. You're at a bar. We wanted you to feel like you were at a bar.
Yeah.
But not get wasted and ruin the show. So moderately enjoy yourself.
Right.
Be served. You are allowed to be served.
Yeah.
Request what you want. A lot of people would say, let's have more shots over here.
Yeah.
Or, but I was kind of away from the audience because they horrified me. But the guests too, and I saw that, and there was a PA whose job it was to take drink orders and say, would you like a refill in the breaks? Now this is a 20-minute show when you break it down with commercials, so there's not a lot of time to just refill.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, there were some people who, if they wanted to, that's the way it is in life. If someone wants to get fucked up,
they're going to get fucked up.
They're going to go get fucked up.
Yeah.
There was one person who I won't name. There are a few people who I won't name, but who, weren't technically supposed to be drinking, who...
those are always the best,
weren't drinking on the show, but I ran into one guy who wasn't drinking on the show. And there was, when you walk into the production office, there were kind of prop bottles of I don't know, some sort of brown liquor that had just there for decoration. And was like, oh, hey, and then just opened this bottle and downed it.
Oh, my God.
And then went back on the set. Like I had gone to the bathroom or something. I was coming back and we went back to set. I think it was a pre-tape.
Yeah.
And not just enjoying a wine.
No.
Or even a slamming hard tequila soda. It was... I haven't seen drinking like that in a long time.
Like a violent chugging of something.
I was like, damn.
Just to get it done.
To get her done.
It's like, did you ever see Bobby Brown on Celebrity Fit Club?
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When he drank that wine glass full of warm vodka. Yeah.
Yeah, just to get it.
Just to get it in there because he's got to level out.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
So
glamorous.
That was not a Vanderpump Rules person, but my point was, this is the only thing I'll say, is that when people ask me, this is the only question I rarely get asked about Watch What Happens Live, because I didn't interact with the celebrities much. I just kind of did my thing and
But you observed a great deal.
I observed a great deal. When they say who's the most fucked up person you ever witnessed guest wise, it was a cast member from Vanderpump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was, look, you can figure it out. It was a girl.
I think I can figure it out, but keep going.
She couldn't answer anything. So it was like, what's your favorite color? And she just kept being like, I don't.
Oh my God.
Almost like it was just, she couldn't even. And then when the show was over, they were like, well, it's time to go now. And she was like, she couldn't get up. So
wow.
She
had to be assisted off the set.
She didn't have to get carried out, but she did.
Maybe a helpful arm or a shoulder.
It was like, now's the time to.
Okay, dear, it's time to go.
Move your body.
Yeah.
She was she was on another planet.
I love that. And by the way, so anyone listening who actually saw that show, please tweet at me, because I don't think I saw the first year of. When Vanderpump was on the first year, I didn't see a lot of Watch What Happens Live. So tweet at me. Come at me, bro.
Don't come at me.
Don't come at John. No, don't come at John. John's doing a public service.
This is my problem.
No.
This
is hard.
I loved her.
I know. I had
great.
something cut out of the feels that you said about a mutual friend of ours that was just outrageous. Well, which we won't talk about here. I'll remind you later.
Okay.
But no, you didn't say anything bad. It's public record. You didn't say their name. They would probably laugh about it.
And you know what? I think I have said her name publicly. But
I'll cut it out. I promise.
Okay.
But was it Kristen?
Yeah. It was. But it wasn't. I wasn't judgy. And
No.
I wasn't like, oh damn, girl. Like it was like, oh okay. Like that's. It was the environment in which we were in.
And also, you said their first press tour, they're excited.
That's what it was. I think it was mostly like, what is happening? I'm on a national live talk show as me.
Yeah.
And you're going to ask me questions. I think if it were a response, if I got stressed out about performing or something and my knee jerk was like, well, I need to evaporate onto Saturn.
Yeah.
Then that would be, we all have our mechanisms.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like
coping and
if like stage fright for me is once you get on, I could like go to sleep.
Nothing.
It's
the lead up. It's the anticipation.
Yeah. Some people, I don't know. maybe, or maybe she just really wanted to get fucked up.
Well, it was probably a combination of
know.
all factors because no one really knows as well what a press junket's like until you're on one. And so
Yeah.
when you're on one,
It's all day.
all day.
6 a.m. till 11 at night.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was drinks beforehand.
And other things. Yeah, I'm sure. I think.
What were you going to say?
That never happened, among like producers or anything like that. It was a very like clean cut crew, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
In terms of
Except when Kathy Griffin comes over and everyone's trying to shove things up her nose.
I can't comment on that, but I will. I can say that is a fucking lie.
Well, I could just tell that it was a lie. The other thing that was really offensive,
But it can be proven.
it can be proven that it's a lie.
Yeah. And
No, tell me how. Just because I know it's a lie.
you may have to cut this out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because this just happened. Like she came out again saying that in the Reporter, like in the
What
Hollywood Reporter.
oh yeah, the Hollywood. I didn't read the article yet. Is there more bullshit about Andy in the Hollywood Reporter?
All she says was apparently he read this to me over a commercial break. Was that she said,
you guys never
don't
talked about it on the show. You said, oh, there was this article in the Hollywood Reporter, and then you never revisit.
And then I think, and because he said a few weeks ago, he was like, oh, I want to ask you about something, and then he was like, oh, never mind, and then he was like, I was like, what were you going to ask me about? And then he said, oh, there was going to be this thing, but it's not going to happen. And then a surprise came out today.
Oh, okay.
And I guess she said, I don't regret saying that about Andy, but I feel like as a woman, it was different. It was weird. I don't know. I didn't really. The thing is, Andy has never done cocaine before a show.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
Right.
If anything, I mean, when I first met him, before we even started dating, I was like, this guy is such a fucking spaz. Get away. And that's what my thoughts were. My thoughts were he has a lazy eye, he's a spaz, he's a space invader. And he talks too close and he's weird. And then I thought, wait, maybe I really like this guy.
Yeah.
So her thing, I think, was always that he was a spaz. And I think her joke in her mind was like, he's probably on coke on that show because he's so great,
And also, she's someone who
That's
is
his thing.
likes to talk about how she is notorious, or rather, and she's also notorious for talking about how she's a teetotaler and never does a drug and never has done a drug. It's like a Gene Simmons situation. So sometimes when people are not worldly about a certain subject, they like to immediately assign certain behaviors.
I totally see her thinking.
Yeah.
I get why she would think that was a safe bullshit lie to say.
Right.
I get it. I used to work on her show.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. But
Who was the craziest person on that show?
and he's also wearing a mic. I'm sorry, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, he's wearing a mic the whole time.
When a guest arrives, he's already gone through rehearsal. He's in his makeup.
That's right.
So they arrive, he's got a mic on. Andy was never alone with her in a room. That's the other thing.
Sure.
And also, once the guest arrives, there are 5 people listening to everything he says. So from the time they arrive, from about 9 p.m. till the time the show ends, that mic is on.
Yeah.
And that means every conversation he and I have, everyone hears everything. And even if it's like, oh, fuck her, she's such a cunt, about someone we are right next to, it's like, you get to that place where it's like, who cares? But if he had offered Kathy Griffin cocaine, or if he was like, all these people would be hearing like, snorting.
Kathy, do you want some? Like,
it didn't happen.
Yeah. No, of course it didn't happen.
I was also there when he would say hello to her, like, great, let's have fun on the show. Like, and she was also like, she would come in and be a total bitch. We have to talk about something else.
Yeah, no, we definitely will. But I just wanted to talk about the mechanics of it because I figured that doesn't surprise me.
This segment brought to you by Cool, Calm, and Collected, the inspiring new collection of uplifting yet confusing spiritual and sexual affirmations from the Queen of Serene, Kristen Doty. Namaste, the Doty way, with Cool, Calm, and Collected. Act now and receive a complimentary bottle of your choice of Copperidge Sauvignon Blanc or Footsteps Chardonnay. Cool, Calm, and Collected. Available now at participating Circus Liquors.
I'm very obsessed with Mexico, Ondas, and everything that's happening from just, the fighting at the dinner to the tequila to the Brittany and Jax maybe taking the hockey job in Tampa.
I know.
Because when you think of Tampa, you think of hockey. I mean, I'm obsessed with all of it. So thank you for having me back.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so glad it worked out.
Yes.
What a perfect
thank you.
A Venn diagram of circumstances.
Wait, so is Jax 40?
Nearly 40. 38.
I don't believe that.
Really think he's older.
I'm 40.
Yeah, and I'm 42.
And you think that this person is younger than us? Well, we both don't drink.
Well, that's true.
Oh, sorry. I'm allowed to say that.
No, yeah, you're allowed to say that. Yeah. No, that's a known thing.
Is it that? Is it just like the hard living?
It could be the hard living. I also think he doesn't do himself any favors by not applying any powder during the interviews.
And sunscreen.
Sunscreen, yeah, that's right. And also, they have... Oh, that could be. You remember at a certain point over these 2 episodes in Mexico so far, he says something about it's just weighing on his chest. He feels it right in his chest.
I know. I thought about that.
I know. I was thinking, is it another little supplement, baby? Because remember, he had some things floating around in there that were
Did he have an implant?
No, but he had the side effects of those supplements that he was taking 2-3 seasons ago.
Gave him titties?
Gynecomastia or something. Yeah, he was having
vaginoplasty.
Yeah, that he had vaginoplasty. That's
on
right.
His breast.
That's right. He had to get it tightened up.
Vaginal mesh.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like Brandy Glanville.
Well, I'm glad he has his tits sorted out.
Yeah.
And speaking of tits, there's lots of tits happening.
That's right. Tits are out. The ladies skinny dip.
They skinny dip and they put their nipples together to cause a spell.
I was kind of hoping Ariana would be with them. It feels like there's still maybe a bit of a distance between them all.
Sure. I really love Ariana.
I just wish that her and Tom were a little more sympathetic to her plight of rooming with Kristen, especially because Sandoval used to live with her. So,
right.
When you know how turned someone gets, you can sympathize with someone complaining about that.
Of course.
Always, right?
Gosh. And we really, as you were saying, we really are back to like Kristen full throttle.
Kristen 1.0, classic Kristen. Later is revealed that basically whenever she goes out of the country without Carter, she has massive panic attacks.
I feel like that's an excuse.
Excuse for what? Just
I think sometimes people who get blackout, like fuck plastered, are like, they need an excuse to like justify their behavior. It's like, well, I wouldn't have gotten so drunk.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Had I not been so stressed out that I came on this trip. It's like, well, the definition of insanity is repeating something and expecting a different result. And if you keep traveling and you keep getting, shit troughed, then without Carter, then maybe you shouldn't travel. Or maybe you should consult your doctor about how to safely travel instead of almost dying and jumping off a balcony.
Yeah.
And
well, that was at a particular emotional
but
low
still,
point. Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's not an excuse. I won't judge her.
Sure.
To each their own. But at the same time, like, I think it's more like jonesing.
Jonesing for Carter or jonesing for the drinking?
I don't know. Like, do you think in that moment when she's like drinking all day?
Yeah.
Or anybody, not just about, I love Kristen. If you're like got the shakes from drinking 48 hours straight,
which it will do no matter how hardy your constitution or how regular a drinker you are, it's going to rattle you. You're going to feel a little sensitive.
Right. So is the suggestion that if Carter had been present, that would have been decreased a little bit?
I think it's more the late night freak out because I think she can drink that quantity in other circumstances.
With Carter present.
Or, nearby so she can text or call him or see him shortly and not have the kind of grand freakouts that she has. I really feel that she has this kind of separation anxiety. I don't know if it's specifically Carter or if it's when she's in a relationship. That, because again, why would someone, if in a relationship that was as bad as her and Tom's was at the time, way back when, why would the two of them stay together? And it speaks to a level of maybe codependency.
Well, and it is hard to have this history with these people and be around them and all that booze
That's
and all
true.
that drama.
Yeah,
and your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, that's right.
And the guy you had sex with cheating on that ex-boyfriend. All that stuff. I mean, of course you want to escape the, pain,
Yeah.
or the regret or the guilt you might feel. Not that she should feel guilty.
No.
It was very entertaining for the audience.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the gift.
Thank you for the many, many gifts,
The
Kristen.
gifts you've given.
And thank you for the late arrival gift in this season.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
I mean, it just really took things into another...
I really like when she has a partial wedge because it really shows the progression of how, like, when I see that partial wedgie, I'm like, oh, we're not far away from a big meltdown.
Oh, that's a really great point. Yeah, you're right.
Because most girls, they're always reaching back there and like tucking the line, the swimsuit bottom panty line underneath their butt cheek.
Yeah.
But she can't feel it. She can't. And when she can't feel it, she doesn't know what's
Fun's
happening.
coming up.
Yep.
Fun's coming up. And I love that everyone makes a point to mention that, look, everyone's been drinking all day. But Kristen had drinks before the drinks.
Before drinks.
That was one of my favorite lines. Stassi is fantastic with those summaries.
It's like Mariah Carey getting hair and makeup to go to hair and makeup.
Exactly. I love the enthusiastic B-roll or the flashbacks they show. She's like, oh my God, look, the penis tequila and all of that. Let's do a shot. You want to do a shot?
Yeah.
And also the B-roll, I mean, the shots that they used for the flashback to the old trip to Mexico are amazing because she's not just doing shots, she's downing champagne glasses full of booze.
Right. I was like, is that tequila?
Yeah. It's whatever's around.
Oh, God.
Apparently. But yeah, she's having drinks at drinks and before drinks. And then she is drinks at dinner and before dinner and then after dinner. And she is wasted to the point that everyone's commenting on it. And she's unable to speak at the beach. And I love what does Lala say? You're speaking some straight up gibberish, mama.
Gibberish, mama. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. And then she says, we got a drunk baby with us.
It's so true. And don't put that person in the water.
That's a really good point, too. Although I think their arms were linked enough that...
Good.
I don't know if you could dissuade Kristen in that state from doing what she wanted to do, though.
I wonder about insurance on that production. Well, we'll turn a blind eye.
Yeah, exactly. They're either heavily insured to the point of outlandishness, or they're not even thinking about it. I think you have to pick one direction and run with it.
Or maybe they framed out lifeguards.
I bet they're lurking right around the corner. Because I know that they have security on those trips.
Sure.
And you rarely, if ever, see them. When shit gets funky, you might see them. Like back when Jax ripped off his sweater in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Then you even saw producers. I love when you see producers.
I love it.
Oh, it's the best. When he rips his mic off or something like that, that is the best. Anytime anyone takes their mic off, it just elevates things, right?
It's perfect.
Yeah, I always wonder how the sound man reacts. I always wonder how loud the sound man is monitoring things because you could go deaf on something like that.
You could. And yeah, I mean, I guess it took a second for them to take their mics off. If they were like, we're going skinny dipping, here's your mic back.
Yeah. No, that would have to be boomed.
We did hear them. They were boomed. So they figured that out.
Yeah.
I bet there were some lifeguards standing by.
There probably was. I hope so anyway. Yeah.
I'm sure there were.
For their sake and the insurance sake. Tom and Katie seem to be having a nice time of it, though.
Lovely time.
Yeah.
Eating pizza in bed, drunk.
All super wasty, as she said. Not just wasted, wasty. I mean, they're fun drunks when they're
sweet together.
Yeah, when they're on the straight and narrow emotionally, which they seem to have been for quite a long time now.
I just feel like I'm in love with him.
Yeah.
I know.
When we were watching, you just said, oh, I love him.
It's sad.
No, it's not sad. It's nice.
Sad.
He's a sweet guy.
Yeah. She doesn't deserve him.
Oh. Yeah, Katie's not your favorite, right?
Well, I mean, what has she done to deserve him? I mean,
you're standing right here, and she's just
right.
Is that
I'll feed him pizza in bed. He can be as drunk as he wants. I don't care.
You'll keep some frozen pizza on hand just in case.
Yeah. I'll keep him very entertained.
I have no doubt. I think you guys would get along well.
I think so too. And she can be our friend.
Yeah, you're not going to be hung up on the past or anything.
No, she could be at our wedding.
Yeah. How involved? Could she be in the wedding party?
No.
That's too much.
Back row.
Too close.
Yeah.
Too close. Back row.
She can work the valet.
Well, that's, you know what? That's very generous of you.
I'm just kidding. She can be somewhere around.
The neighboring villa.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Andaz. We'll send her to Andaz.
Would you allow her to join your honeymoon the way that Stassi joined their honeymoon?
No.
No, that's a bridge too far.
No, we could FaceTime her. while we're inside each other. Say, remember this?
Yeah. Remember this dad bod? So he's your number one on the show. I mean, that's obvious you're going to get married.
Number one. Yeah, I mean, Peter's my number one.
Sorry, I forgot. You did tell me that before.
But he's not my dynamic number one. I mean, he's not like my marriage number one.
Yeah. You want a guy that's...
I want Schwartz.
Yeah. That's kind of a little goofy, sweet.
Yeah, I want to take care of him and fix him a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know, how old is he?
I forget.
How old are all of them?
Okay, so I always forget that
they can't be 20s.
No, they're not. I forget some of their ages only because we hear about Jax being 38 so often.
It can't be true.
But I feel like it is because I think he would have slipped and accidentally said a different age at some point.
So you're trying to tell me that 5 years ago, he was like 33?
That's what I'm trying to put across. Yeah, I think so.
No.
Yeah, because Stassi is 29. No, Stassi's turning 30 next year. Yes. Yeah.
So she was like 24.
Yeah.
No.
So, doesn't that hold though with the isn't that on brand for
Bees.
Jax? What's that? Queen Beef?
So she was like Queen Beef. She's like Queen Bees at like 17.
I never saw Queen Beef. 17-year-old on Queen Beef.
I mean, like, yeah.
What happens when you win Queen? Bean Queef.
Bean Queef. I will.
Was that on CBS? I can't remember. Was that a Les Moonves production? Bean Queef.
Bean Queef.
There's a lot of passionate fans still hoping for a DVD release of that.
Quee.
So Katie is 32.
I think that's honest.
Yeah, definitely. So, and Brittany's, I think, the youngest of the bunch. Brittany is 28. But I was going to say, it holds true for Jax's tendencies because when Jax and Stassi were together, there was roughly a 10-year age gap, right?
And Kristen's what?
I'm trying to remember.
She's 35, 34, 34.
33, 34, maybe?
Yeah.
I can't quite remember.
That sounds about right. How old is Schwartz?
I want to say
31.
I always think that Schwartz and Kristen are somewhere between 30 and 33, and I don't know why. I know I've heard their ages, but I've never thought about it. With Jax, I always goof on him and say happy 50th on his birthday. He gets rankled by it, but I've always goofed on him being like 65 or so. That's always my joke with him. He doesn't ever like it, but it makes it even funnier when I say it to him.
Sure.
Or on social media, tag him happy 50th, buddy. So, and I keep hearing 38, 38. Also at his birthday party, they had the balloons that said 38. And I feel like Sandoval would have ratted him out by now. Those guys love each other and they'll do anything for each other. The other thing they'll do, though, is if there's an opportunity to bust one of them on something, they will do it. If they want to bust it, they want to bust a nut.
They did say, like, never say you're 40. You're not 40. So you're right. He's not 40 yet. He's like, I'm 40 so he was turning 38. I get that. I would say that at 38. I just think it's strange. He just does not look 38 to me.
No, look, I understand. Like, I mean, for years I would goof that he was like 45, 51, something like that.
Well, you can't help, the way you look, and you can't help your age. So good for him.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can help your decision to move to Florida to do social media for a hockey team that may or may not exist. I mean, he probably has an offer to go to Tampa to work at Mons Venus and be a bouncer and make an appearance and then fly back.
That's not a bad gig, too.
Just
do that.
Yeah. I bet he would get a lot of money.
Probably, yeah, for like 2 nights of work or something.
To
everything
do
comped.
The whole strip.
Yeah, and you have everything comped and everything set up.
Yeah, and
perfect.
They'll pay you to show up.
Yeah,
and girls would come in like topless, titties.
Which, by the way, would go away if you became the social media manager for a hockey team.
Yeah.
Why would you? If you're on TV and you live in LA,
I don't buy it for a second.
Yeah, I mean the offer might have been real, but was he really that into it?
No. Because he tried, because you could see him acting like he kept bringing it up, like, I'm just like really trying to like think about this.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's the negativity rock. It's having some inverse reaction on him. Because Kelsey's helping so much. As he said a couple episodes ago to Brittany when he asked her to leave the apartment for about an hour because Kelsey was coming over.
Right.
And she was like, huh, what? And he said, come on. It's the highlight of my week. Just, more winning things to say to your girlfriend after you're trying to get things back together after cheating on them with one of their friends.
Oh my God. Now I'm on pins and needles about what's going to happen to Brittany.
I know. What's she going to decide to do?
She's going to stay and then wither.
Without Jax, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no shortage of guys that are interested in her. I mean, as we see, Scheana's been trying to set her up with this guy, Adam.
Right. Adam, he is good looking. One of two things is happening. Either they're trying to bring fresh blood into the show, and so they planted him there. They gave him a big scene with Lisa.
That's right. The big Katie O'Malley test is what I like to call it. Do you remember last year when Katie O'Malley just did a horrible job with the menu? Yeah.
Yep. Because they can't all be 40. Because basically now they're all 35 or 40.
They're headed that way. Yeah.
They are old, like as Stassi says in the episode. We're old, so they if they want to keep this show a 20s, a 26-year-old kind of, he's right on the money. So, and I'm sure they could get a lot of drama out of him, aka banging Scheana or banging Brittany.
Yeah,
or whoever.
Right. Banging somebody
because they only bang and throw pizza over sheets. On this show, they don't have sex or make love; they just bang.
Well, that was back in the days when Jax was living behind the sheet wall.
Right.
So, with a sheet girl.
A sheet girl. And they like to bang each other. So, maybe that's a little nod to what's ahead. Or maybe it is organic and Scheana is just trying to play producer and try and, get some of that D.
Yeah, that is a very astute point. It'd be interesting to see what happens. My issue all the time with new people is that if they're not interesting, it just won't be any good. It's like
you got to be nuts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the people that have broken through the friend group wall on the show, Lala and James Kennedy. You have to have an outsized personality.
Yeah.
And also be ready to mix it up. If the shit goes down, you got to just pop off.
Poor James.
I know. We now find out that he was bullied as a child.
I liked him a tiny bit because of that.
Just a little fragment.
Yeah. I really like him a lot.
I like him.
I love him.
And in person, on the show, he did the podcast, and he was terrific on the podcast. He can sometimes be weird when he's drinking, but it makes more sense now. Weird in that you don't know which James you're going to get. He could either be very friendly and almost sentimental,
or an asshole.
In a weird way. Like one time he was bragging about how much money he has and stuff, which is immediately just ugh.
The bravado.
Yeah, and it was at the premiere party, so it was like, even if that's true, do you need to be telling everyone here? Everyone knows what you make.
Yeah, I get that. I've seen people get like that, yeah.
But here's the weird thing, it's not all the time. So then the next time you see him, he might be
jolly
terrific
old
company. Yeah. So I like him a lot too, and he's going to be back on the podcast
And he has
soon.
legs twisted.
I mean, that's pretty rotten.
And they made fun of his chin and his ears.
And they called him gay, which I think influences why he popped off so hard.
Whatever happened to that queen who lied?
I don't know. I think, did we see him in the background at some point? But as far as I know, that was it. That was the end of the story with him.
Good. I didn't like that guy.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me about that one time, and there was something really fishy about that whole thing.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy. I didn't trust him.
Now, do you think that something did happen between them?
I don't know if it happened between them, but I think he's probably had some male
encounters,
to male action. Yeah. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know him.
No, I know, but that's the point.
I would like to.
Yes, you would like to?
I would like to meet him.
Before you marry Schwartz, maybe have a little bit of dabble.
Dalliance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to meet him. I would like to meet him and see... Actually, I've met him. He's fine. He's nice.
He'd be fun on the fields, maybe.
What?
I don't know. He makes music. He likes music.
He'd be bored.
Maybe not.
He might fall asleep, which could be great.
That would be great. Anyone who falls asleep on the show, thank you.
Oh my God.
That'd be amazing.
It would be great.
Which one of the housewives fell asleep during a reunion?
Oh, right.
Was it a New York reunion?
I feel like it was in Atlanta.
Maybe. I got to catch up on Atlanta. I got to catch up on all the housewives.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm behind. I don't know. I haven't seen Teddy Joe yet.
I'm stuck in Andaz.
Yeah, no, Andaz. The housewives of Andaz. Have you ever been to the Andaz around here?
Is there really one?
Yeah.
No.
It used to be, I believe, the Continental Hyatt House, a.k.a. the Riot House. In the 70s, a lot of bands stayed there. It wasn't exactly a corollary to the, or a companion, to the Marmont, but now it's, now and you know what? They do a lot of shooting at the Andaz. Scheana's decades party from a couple seasons ago was held at the Ondas. There was some kind of powwow at the Ondas before. Yeah, so the Ondas is doing a lot of work with Vanderpump Rules.
They're in the
They're in the swing of things. I actually wouldn't be surprised if you see an Ondas on the Housewives or something.
Ondas.
Ondas. This segment brought to you by Ondas.
Ondas. Have your powwow at Ondas.
And Brittany and Jax keep talking about the job offer, and I can't remember now if it's the prep before dinner night 1 or night 2. It doesn't matter. But do you ever really want to have that kind of conversation before a nice dinner with friends?
No, but I like that they were having it while they were getting ready because I like watching people do their makeup.
Yeah. No, I do too.
And I like watching people get, do their,
ablutions,
when in the mirror. And I like watching that.
Do we ever see Jax really doing anything to get ready, or does he just arrive with clothes on?
No, I haven't seen that. Maybe it's the tits. Maybe he's worried about his scar tissue.
That could be. He's sensitive about that sort of thing.
Titty scars.
When he's at the water park and he's just sort of floating alone.
Yeah. By the way, the water park looks like a cesspit.
It looks horrific. Yeah.
It looks like it has airborne syphilis. They're in tubes. There's no slides. There is a zip line. And then you get to do a ropes course. Who wants to exercise at a water park? No.
When you're full of booze.
And I mean, I would jump off a cliff.
Yeah.
But I would do that without any water below. Especially after this episode.
Cliff balcony,
I would, and I would swim around. The water did look nice, but water park didn't really describe it. They should have called it a sensual cove.
Sensual cove would be good, or just water place.
Yeah.
Water area.
Yeah.
Area with water.
Club water.
Aren't you never supposed to ingest any of the water in Mexico as well?
Well, unless you want to lose 50 pounds in 2 days.
Oh, that's true.
Which is probably why they all went.
That's why they picked that place. That's the hot spot, you say.
Let's go to the water park.
You know what that means, don't you, babe? Come on, babe.
Yeah, then let's get in our private jacuzzi and turn it around.
Order whatever you want at this fight dinner, because we're going to drink some of the water, clear it right up.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, you're not even supposed to drink ice.
Yeah, that's right.
Montezuma's frozen. Yeah, I was in Mexico and I had tap water and stuff like that.
Really?
It was fine, yeah.
That's living on the edge as far as I'm concerned. That would be a little wild for me. But, Stassi's sunglasses are so great at the water park.
Did I notice them?
They're giant Jackie O Dynasty sort of looking things.
Those are, that's a natural look to me. That's how everyone should look.
Well, I agree, but, a lot of people are just failing that challenge.
Stassi has it on point when it comes to style and fashion.
She does, yeah.
And she always knows when she has a wedgie and she fixes it.
Yeah, you're right.
Kristen can't feel herself from the waist down.
She can't feel her bottoms.
No, she can't. She can't feel her
extremities in general.
epidermis.
Yeah. Stassi, meanwhile, knows instantly that her bottoms have come off.
She's like, "Let me check this." Got it.
Any travel episode, there's going to be yellow subtitles.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of times the yellow subtitles also means that you're in for a really good discussion.
Sure.
Like at the club when Jax, I love how Detective Jax has to get to the bottom of things. But over and over, over and over.
Yeah. We're like, haven't we had this conversation before?
Yeah. Jax later says something that is kind of mean. Well, if you were going to leave me, you would have left me by now.
That was such a weird thing to say.
Isn't that weird?
Because he's saying, I'm going to leave you, I'm going to leave you. And then she didn't really say anything to warrant that.
Not at all.
Him to say that to her.
And also it's kind of saying you'll never leave me.
And then I was surprised that Stassi, out of everyone there, was chastising Schwartz for being the most drunk when he was just straddling a coffee table, which is with a hat. He was teabagging everyone's drinks. And I was like, teabag it all you want, Schwartz.
You're in Mexico. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
Let me be your coffee table.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
I would be the coffee table.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. You would be the coffee table. You would not scold. I should have clarified.
I would not scold. I would be like, bring this guy some more.
Yeah, you'd be like another bottle of Patron for my sweetheart.
Right. That is one funny shot when he just drank the whole bottle of Patron.
And he does this thing when he's at a certain point of drunk. He puts sunglasses on no matter what the lighting or time, which is great. It's a very big tell for him. Out of all of them, Sandoval slurs the least, the very least. If you ever hear Sandoval slur, he's fucked up.
Wow.
And Schwartz, he has other tells. It's not so much the slurring, sunglasses. And also pouring things into his mouth without making lip contact.
Like James did with that strawberry margarita.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Maybe he was worried about cooties from Lala.
Sure.
Because she was like, hey, don't bogart that thing. I told you 3 times now.
Right.
I like how she's just like, hey, to the guys this year. I thought it was funny that Sandoval got a bit of blowback at dinner when he was like, okay, ladies, let's pump the brakes. Stassi, you're being inappropriate.
She's like, and then don't talk to me. Don't tell me how I will talk to you like that. Or no, I guess Jack said, don't talk to me like that.
That's right, with Lala.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll talk to you any goddamn way I please. And then I think that's when she followed up with, you're sitting here looking like a damn dummy, honey.
Yes.
Which you can't really come back from that. You have to be very sharp verbally to like spar with someone who says that kind of thing.
I mean, we then, if it were us sitting at that table, we would have made a comment about her makeup. Yeah. I'll show you who the dummy is. The Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, Ripley's Believe It or Not, Is It Human makeup you're wearing. That's the dummy, the doll, the actual doll waxen figure that you are talking to me. Are you possessed? Are you from the movie Magic with Anthony Hopkins? What are you? Are you an actual person or are you a doll? Are you a dummy?
Is this child's play?
Fuck you, Chucky. I'll keep talking. You take a drink.
I'll talk however I want.
Yeah. So, but we know that Jax isn't that quick.
Yeah, no, there you go.
So
yeah.
she shut him down.
Yeah.
And Lala, I love you. I'm kidding. You look beautiful.
Her makeup look is much more natural this year than when she first arrived on the show.
Is that sarcasm?
No, sadly it's not. I would go with that, but it is more natural than it was.
Okay.
But do you remember her in the first reunion she was on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and there was a reunion story that was just done.
Speaking of makeup.
Yeah.
A certain gentleman's
and
makeup.
I didn't recognize her. I was like,
oh, okay.
Oh God! Like someone has put Crisco in a heated blender, and then put it in a big bowl and dunked her in it, and then like took some spray paint and just spray painted this person, and now she's on the reunion.
Oh,
and then until she said "pussy power," I was like, oh,
that's who it is.
Oh, that's her. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's who it is.
Right.
Standing next to this weird guy who kind of looks like Andy with big old eyebrows.
Yeah.
You brought that up on the show.
Again, a doll.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's right. There was two.
Looked like a doll.
Andy looked a little bit like a cadaver doll. I mean, he said
cadaver. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to say cadaver, but that is, he looked made up.
The other thing I loved is you said, who did your, this is we're referring to, of course, Andy Cohen Live on Radio Andy, which John is the co-host of, which we may have discussed earlier in this episode or later. I can't remember at this point.
Yeah.
But on the show this week, they were talking about Andy having been in L.A. last weekend for the reunion.
Who did your makeup on that Vanderpump Rules set? Well, I actually don't answer that.
You mean on the Atlanta set because I posted a picture and I look like a cadaver?
No, the Vanderpump Rules set.
This lady that does my makeup for the West Coast reunions. I don't know her name. Why?
Okay.
But she gave me a bunch of skincare products that I saved for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Why? Did it look bad?
Never mind. You look great.
No, why? No, tell me. I want to know.
I don't know. You matched the tone
of
everyone else.
Okay.
Which was kind of overdone.
Okay, yes. Well,
did she give you brows?
She might have.
She color in those brows?
I think she did. Was that bad?
You didn't look...
You
looked like
bad. You know what my problem is, John? For real, people do my makeup, and I still, after all these years of getting my makeup done, have no sense. I never pay attention to what they're doing. And frankly, I think Caroline, who does my makeup for Watch What Happens Live and Love Connection, does it the best. And everyone else, like in Atlanta, she
does less is more.
The woman, I don't know about that, but I don't know what she does, but it looks good. The woman in Atlanta, I was like, oh my God, I think I look like a cadaver. And the producers never are like, oh, your makeup's not right. Like, I just feel like they never have my back makeup wise. Like, they're never like, oh, Andy looks funny. And then we'll get the cuts of the show. I'm like, I look crazy. So I don't know. I think the Instagram picture that I posted of me and Vanderpump looks okay.
It was more the story of you like roaming the halls, looking at Crafty.
Yes, I understand.
And your lip, it looks like you had like lipstick on and rouge.
Oh, God. Stop.
My favorite part is him responding to your question of who did your makeup. I don't know, just the same woman that does it every single time on the West Coast. Doesn't know who it is.
Well, and then I was like, I don't mean who did your makeup, because I don't want to out someone as having done bad makeup.
Oh, you can't out them because he doesn't remember their name.
But I know his regular person, and I could tell it wasn't her.
Right. Okay, so maybe she wasn't as regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was just he didn't need eyebrows. And I remember having this conversation with his regular makeup artist, because when I was on Watch What Happens Live as the bartender, I was like, give me eyebrows. I want like bigger eyebrows. And she was like, no. Mm-hmm. She's like, if you do eyebrows, you're ruined as a guy.
Oh,
so
okay.
Like, she has a policy of like not doing eyebrows on guys.
That's a smart policy because it is odd.
You notice it.
Oh, I know. I knew something was wrong. I could tell on the story, and I thought, what is this going to look like on TV? But then again, he was also seemingly standing under like just a bare light.
Right.
And it's coming right down in his face, creating shadows.
I'm sure he'll look great, and then they'll color correct it.
That's right. Yeah, everything's like green and pink, and then they just color correct it. Everything's animated, actually.
Yes. Claymation.
And now a reading from Ask Stassi.
Hey Stassi, what's your secret to day drinking? I just turned 21 in June. Every time I attempt to day drink at parties or just with friends, I just get super tired and boring. Like I'll literally go take a nap. How do I stay awake and fun? Do I do Red Bull? I usually don't get sleepy at night. Is it just the sun? Help! Yours, Callie.
Dear Callie, first of all, happy birthday. Just so you know, my advice on this topic is bad advice. But you asked, so here we go. You know no-dos? Like the caffeine pills that Jesse Spano freaked out on during Saved by the Bell? Anyway, you can get them at any drugstore, and they will totally give you energy to hang during the day. The alternative is having a billion shots of espresso, but that kind of rips my stomach apart, so if I were you and I knew I'd be day drinking, I would take like half a caffeine pill before. And yes, you only need a half. Successful day drinking also depends on what you're drinking. Here's a tip. Don't drink wine during the day because it makes you fall asleep no matter what. So, what should you drink then? Truthfully, I go through phases of favorite day drinks. These phases have included Bloody Marys, margaritas, beer, but if you want to stay responsible when drinking during the day, I'd say choose any tequila-based cocktail, because tequila won't make you sleepy. Shaking my head. It's terrible advice. I'm sorry. Have fun, Callie. XX Stassi.
Do you ever feel like you need to get back to your bubble? I don't mean to just go harp on the Kristen thing, but when you travel, do you ever have any kind of like travel anxiety or panic or homesickness?
Homesickness, yeah. I mean, I'm homesick for New York all the time.
Oh, it's a long time. You've been living in LA again since when again?
Like a year and a half.
Okay, and you just visited there, and I heard on the show you were like, I want to come back here.
Yeah, I miss it so much. I tend to get more done in New York.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I see more people and I get more done. I feel like I'm more isolated in LA.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And, you know, then the days just like evaporate in LA. They go so fast.
Especially if you have to do any errands.
Right.
You do 2-3 errands, your day's kind of screwed.
Yeah. I do TM now.
Oh, you do? When did you begin that?
Last week.
Oh, that's great.
And so I do that now. And then, I mean, that's 40 minutes a day. 20 and 20.
Yeah.
And then, like, by the time, I mean, that's, you know, that sucks up half the day right there.
Right.
40
but doesn't
minutes.
it help speed up the rest of your day in terms of productivity?
Yes, you get more done. But at the same time, and, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I embrace both. I do like New York, and I do like it all. Yeah.
Maybe at some point you'll be bi-coastal.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope I have the money for that.
Yeah.
I want to, be rich.
Yeah, that I think would be the goal. The water park reminded me also of when Schwartz said, well, I'm not going back. I know we have a bar. And I mean, he's playing around. And that's one of the things that you love so much about him. That's why you're going to get married.
Yes.
And then let Katie FaceTime you while you're inside each other.
Yep.
So I was also thinking, would it be great if he actually just did that? Like he became a Jimmy Buffett song and just became the sort of the bum of the water park?
Yeah. I think he'd be happy.
You'd still love him there.
Of course.
You'd move to the water
He
park.
could even get fatter.
You wouldn't care. You'd feed him those Andaz tacos and just fatten him up, keep him happy.
Stay here with me.
Order more Patron.
As long as he doesn't go bald.
You know, I don't think he will.
I don't think so either.
Do you ever look at people and think, you know what, they're going to go?
I do.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
I do that too. Now, I have a little bit of thinness on the crown. But
Propecia.
Yeah, that's right. You're an advocate of that, right?
Well, I mean, I take it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lose it.
Right. Now, once you have a little bit of thinness, can it actually grow back or be thicker?
I think so.
Interesting. Now, what's the stuff that minoxidil? Now, a friend of mine was very into minoxidil. Now, there's no way to know whether or not it worked because he'd been such a strict adherent of it. Or rather, he adhered strictly to a regimen of not taking it, applying it. But every other male in his family has very severe baldness, so I guess it must have worked for him. So
no man in my family has any hair, and all the guys on my mom's side have hair. So that genetic theory proves true for me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work on that.
Thank you.
Very lustrous locks.
Thank you.
That Frank's Chop Shop takes care of for you. And your favorite guy, Kevin. That's his name.
Kevin
is his name.
You.
Yeah, Kevin. Shout out to Kevin at Frank's Chop Shop.
Keep chopping it up.
Chop it away.
Yeah.
How about James struggling with the info about Scheana attempting to coordinate something when he wants to hang out with Jaxie Boy, he seems very excited to be there, by the way.
Who, James does?
James, yeah.
Yeah. I think he is upset at Scheana. I think he's thinks she's a shitster.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think it affects him. I think he gets personally a little, pissed off. Why are you, muddying the water or stirring up shit when I just want to have friends?
Yeah.
He's had his legs twisted until they've cracked. He's had his chin made fun of and his ears made fun of.
Well, it definitely gives a lot of perspective as to why he is so hot-headed with people when they seem to reject him. If there's a hint of rejection, he goes over the top and to reject them first.
Right. So maybe he killed Scheana and that's why they cloned her.
Oh my God. I think you've just uncovered a massive Vanderpump mystery.
Right. And I think she's a droid. She's an android.
And he's upset now that this Robo Scheana is to Scheana for his own good.
Exactly.
And it's a complication he never foresaw.
Right. It's very Blade Runner.
It's extremely Blade Runner.
She's a synth.
Yeah. A little bit of Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is the key to all of it. We've uncovered it.
You know what I can't believe we haven't talked about yet?
What?
Lala's Baba?
Oh God, no, the Baba. I don't believe that. So let me ask you this. Is she saying that she puts Klonopin in the bottle?
You know what? I don't know.
Or does she take the Klonopin and then drink something on top of it?
I would love if she actually made a sort
tincture.
of Klonopin, tincture, a Klonopin smoothie.
Right.
I would like that more because that would be so rank and gross, and I'd love that. That'd be so debauched.
Right.
Although warm milk to me is so disgusting. But
so disgusting.
Warm milk and honey in a plastic bottle.
I don't believe that. Do you think that she really does that?
I mean, if you're going to come up with something to have a gag on the show, would you want it to be that? I mean, it looks goofy. It is goofy. Maybe she's a secret comedian and
she knows that it will make air.
Could be. If we want to say that, I think because we don't want to imagine that she actually uses that.
To go to the trouble every night to do that?
Every night. But then she says that she'll have that Baba while she watches her favorite show. And I now need to know what her favorite show is. Wouldn't it be great if it was Vanderpump Rules?
Yeah, it probably is. I just watch myself and I suck on my bottle.
I watched Reunion Part 2 from last year and I just suck on the bottle and it soothes me out. And I can go to sleep.
There's nothing wrong with sucking a bottle. It's just odd. I mean,
there's nothing. I don't want to Baba shame.
No,
certainly not. Anyone. That's a lifestyle choice that we all support.
Suck your Baba.
Yeah, exactly. Soothe yourself.
Yeah, suck your Baba. But
it's not for me. But
every night, keeping
every
that up.
night. Yeah.
So it's milk and honey.
Milk and honey. She said that she's on a lower dose of her anti-anxiety medication. And by the way, whether it's Klonopin, Xanax, or propanolol. God bless.
What's propanolol?
Or maybe it's propanol. I'm not sure. It's this one that is it's like a beta blocker.
Is that what killed Michael Jackson?
No, that's propofol. Propofol. That's right. Also fun, apparently.
Also, yeah, give it to me.
It's something that doctors will try to give to people instead of a Xanax, instead of a Klonopin.
Right.
But the thing is, to me, conceptually.
Right.
That's like a non-stimulant ADD medication. I don't know why you would want to, because it's going to affect something. Generally with ADD or ADHD, stimulants are used because it has the opposite effect. Right.
Yeah.
So if it's a non-stimulant, I don't know if I buy that math. Now, then again, I'm not a doctor, but it just seems a little funny.
There's so many different kinds of beta blockers. There are simple ones and easy ones.
Yeah.
She's on Ativan.
Is Ativan one you'd have to wean off of?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think that's intense.
Because Klonopin's definitely a wean.
Yeah, you can't just stop that stuff.
No, Stevie Nicks, that's the one she had the most trouble with.
She said it felt like she was being pushed into hell.
Wow.
Yeah. Worse than getting off of Coke.
Which is bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it ruins your synapses.
Oh, it does? Okay.
And it's also instant. The minute you start taking one of those benzodiazepines, your brain goes, oh, well, I don't have to make it anymore.
Really?
My gabapentin?
Gabapentin?
No.
GABA hey?
Just GABA hey.
Yeah.
I don't have to make it anymore because this thing's doing it for me.
Oh,
so
it's here already.
So it doesn't take like months of buildup.
Wow.
Like, you get freaked out when it wears off.
I see.
So more anxiety.
Especially, and so if you're taking it, if you're prescribed it on a daily basis.
Bad news.
Right.
And it's the most prescribed thing in the country.
Klonopin.
Xanax.
Oh, okay. Because a friend of mine was telling me that Xanax is now being sort of replaced with Klonopin.
Klonopin's safer because it's longer lasting, so it goes
down. I see.
Because Xanax goes boom, 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 and then out.
Gotcha.
4 hours later, you're back to square one, and you're just as freaked out. How'd she warm up the milk in that room? Did they have a hot plate?
Did they have a hot plate?
They shoved it up someone's vagina.
That's what it was. You took a slim hot water bottle, and then you have a willing acceptor, and then you're all set.
Tom Schwartz sits on it.
You'd let him sit on your water bottle.
My baba.
Your baba.
I just want Tom Schwartz to sit on my baba.
That's all.
And
That's
like
all.
like a frat boy freshman year at Florida State.
You don't mind his frat boy antics, do you?
No. You kidding?
You like a project, right?
Yes. I never want him to graduate.
You never want him to grow up. You got upset too, right? When they said Jax was like, it's time to grow up. And the guys were like, why are you saying that? Never say that.
Yeah.
Why would you say that too if you're going to open a bar? I mean, he's not, but the other two guys are.
Oh, my God.
Are you excited for Tom Tom?
Sure. If I get to see it or go to it.
I'm sure that'll happen.
Yeah.
Above all, just be kind.
Right.
Great quote from James when they sum up.
Be kind.
Yeah. What'd you think of James's dad?
Yeah, it made me wonder about James' childhood.
Okay.
You know,
sure. Yeah.
In an okay way, but maybe just not maybe he didn't have the best role models.
Okay, that's fair. Although he did seem to encourage the DJing thing, which is good.
Sure. Follow your dreams.
Exactly. Follow your dreams, be kind, and enjoy your penis flute.
And sorry that you got your legs twisted off.
This is nice. We're doing a little capsule thing for James.
I feel so bad for him.
Well, maybe you guys can talk it out on the
And
fields.
what was wrong with his chin?
I guess it's a prominent chin. I never noticed his chin being any particular
I think he's
way.
handsome.
Yeah. I mean, his ears were a little big, but this is one of the things they goofed on.
I don't mind ears either. I don't mind big ears.
No, there's nothing wrong with his ears. It's just I think they're a little prominent. But, I thought it was interesting that he mentioned that. Then they moved, and then suddenly you're in a new environment.
Yeah.
It'd be great if every kid that was bullied could move to another school.
And be cool.
Generally, if they move the kid, it just solves everything.
Of course, because and especially if you're the kid with the accent.
There you go. Yeah, if you have some kind of nice distinguishing factor, they're going to go for you, especially British. Everyone loves a British accent.
Yeah, they're like, he's a British kid. Let's be friends with him.
A British accent always makes everything sound and feel better.
Yeah, for sure.
The dumbest sentence coming out of a British person's mouth, it's like, oh, wow, they're really together. They really have an interesting thought.
If Schwartz could only be British.
Oh, the one you found a chink in his arm where you found the one blemish.
No,
you'd hate that.
I would.
You'd hate that.
I'd be over him.
I like that James is so aware of how everyone is on these trips that when he's breaking the news to Jax about the Scheana plan, he's like, I got to try to cover my mouth because like they're going to try to read my lips. He's not stupid. He knows what happens on these things. He actually knows it pretty well too because he's like, I won't tell Jax now, which could have started off quite a firestorm when it was guys' night. Ariana's with the guys, not in the nipple bath.
Oh, the nipple bath.
Yeah.
I wonder what spell that caused.
If one of the participants is that drunk, are you going to actually get the spell together? Yeah. Or is it going to be sideways? Like, isn't it in Harry Potter when you can't use your wand yet? When you're trying to use it, if you do it too prematurely, you're going to get some kind of sideways thing. Or like in Ghostbusters when they accidentally conjure up the Stay Puft Man.
Right.
James has a couple other good points. always dress up, right? That makes sense.
Put yourself together.
Yeah, put yourself together. What do you think of his tactic of mixing the cologne into the water of the steamer so it's all baked into the shirt?
Love it. I mean, unless it's a disgusting cologne like blue jeans.
Yeah, you don't want to oversaturate with something disgusting.
Because then you're stuck with it.
Yeah, that's true.
In your clothes.
A well-tested cologne.
Something your body works with.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite fragrance to wear?
I'm a Bulgari guy, but only the old one from old school.
The original?
Yeah. Just nothing fancy.
Mm-hmm. I like to wear Forever Crystal. No, it's that.
Oh, is that a J-Lo fragrance?
No, it's from the Carrington fragrance line.
Or
Forever Blake actually is more.
What's the other one?
Macho.
But what's the one that Joan Collins does that I posted?
Oh, Joan Collins fragrance. I Am Woman.
Mm-mm.
Well, she had one called I Am Women. I Am Woman, not I Am Women. I would like a fragrance called I Am Women.
I Am Women.
Yeah. They used to promote that on Beef Queen.
Beef Queen.
Yeah.
The best.
That was the best. They had a tie-in too, but I can't quite remember how it worked.
Right.
I never saw the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacular?
No.
Here
it is. Okay.
How to Build a Fire by Joan Collins.
It takes something black, something brilliant, something cool, something hot, something scoundrel. My favorite fragrance. It's sophisticated and elegant, and there's something sexy about it, too. Then, when something happens, and it will, you can always say, it wasn't me, it was my scoundrel.
Scoundrel from Revlon.
Somebody here report a fire?
Oh my God, that's incredible.
It wasn't me, it was my scoundrel.
It wasn't me, it was my scoundrel.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. I want Scoundrel now.
Me too.
I've got to get a bottle of Scoundrel.
Scoundrel.
What are you wearing, darling? Scoundrel.
Why is it for women? What's that feminine smell you're wearing? Scoundrel.
I think we covered everything in this episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed because it was so chock full of morsels and juicy bits.
Yeah, you're right.
God.
I should have taken more notes too. It's just all a flutter in my brain.
Well, because it's coming at you nonstop.
I just keep thinking of Schwartz.
Well,
and
I know.
When they go to a club, it's always like, ooh.
It
looks
yeah.
like hell.
It looks and sounds like hell. And they have to cover up the music that is bleeding through their mics. So there's that fake music that they play through on top of the other stuff, and you're straining to hear them. Although Scheana's voice does have a way of cutting through.
Yes,
no matter what.
She knows how to throw her voice in the mask, as her voice teacher has certainly instructed her to do.
Indeed. Well, maybe that's her theater training coming out. You know, she is in that show in Vegas, so...
Pussycat Dolls?
No, it's straight tips for sex tips for gay guy from a straight woman
from a gay guy.
Straight talk from Ross Matthews. That's I think
straight talk with Ross Matthews.
Yeah, there's the stage version of that now, which is terrific. Yeah. She plays the producer, I think, and then Ross Matthews plays the Dolly Parton role.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, which is great. It's a match made in heaven. Scoundrel. Yeah, that's right. Scoundrel, starring Ross Matthews. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's that, and then Jax again has to get to the bottom of things. Calls Brittany over. I think Brittany for 10 minutes was finally having a good time. Summoned her over, and then he was like, "Wait, so Brittany thought it was a date?" And then it just goes on and on and on.
I don't like Jax brooding. It doesn't. I'm like, quit brooding. Just get drunk and fuck someone.
Yeah.
You know?
Have a party. Have some fun.
That's what we want to see.
That is what we want to see.
I want to see you ruin someone's life by having sex with them.
Well, John, thank you so much for.
And on that note,
well, that's how the episode ended. We should go out on that too.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Please have me back soon. I love coming.
I would love to have you on again. I'm sure all the listeners would as well. So thank you very much, and check out John again, as we said earlier or later on the show, depending on how it all comes out in the end. John is on twice a week with Andy Cohen on Andy Cohen Live on Radio Andy, which is on Sirius XM. I can't remember the number. 102.
So close.
102. That's right, because Howard was going to have 3 channels, and then 102 is dead because he only did 2 channels, which is good given the original programming he came up with for 101. It's good he didn't have another channel to burden himself with.
Right.
So 102 is Radio Andy, and John is the co-host of that. And he also has a show Thursday night at
7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
And that is called The Feels, which I've been on, and I think I'm coming on again soon. Maybe I'll promote my new podcast that I do with Katya Zamolodchikova called Whimsically Volatile.
Which I would love to come on as well.
Oh, we're going to have you on that soon, very soon.
I have to be.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, John. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah.
Find us on Instagram and Twitter at Pump Rules Pod, or go to pumprolespodcast.com for more information. Email pumprolespodcast@gmail.com and follow on Facebook at facebook.com/pumprolespodcast. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.